All right, hey, what's up guys? This is Riley from becominganelectrician.com. So this is my very first video on this website. So if you guys like this content, you guys can subscribe on YouTube or sign up to the email list by visiting, again, becominganelectrician.com. It has dashes, so becoming-and-electrician.com. In this video, I want to cover my page. It's called the Recommended Tools for Apprentice Electricians. As you can see, I got my different bags here. These are the two main bags I want to talk about. This bag here was really useful for traveling. So this is called a Vito bag. I'll talk about this near the end of the video. These are really nice. They're a little expensive. They have a nice plastic case so that your tools never get wet. But again, this is for traveling, I found, in my opinion. This is called an electrical tool carrier and maintenance bag. This has been by far my favorite electrical bag, okay? We're gonna talk about all of the different hand tools. And then this is for all your drills, right? We have drills, I have my impact in there. I even am able to store like a hacksaw. So everything in this bag is for like your power tools, okay? Now inside the article, I suggest to you guys a hand tool bundle, all right? Usually they save you money in terms of all your different hand tools that you need to buy. Sometimes your company will offer you some type of starter kit program. I know when I started, that's what my company did. It was just like a little hand tool set. It was Greenlee. I really do like these Greenlee tools. Over my years, as I kept going, I did pick up a lot of Klein Tools, which I will talk about here in just a moment, okay? Now, also when it comes to your drills, be careful on the drills you buy. If you are an electrician, a commercial electrician, you want to be making sure that you're buying the higher end drills, okay? If you are purchasing a cheap drill, you are going to burn out your drill. We are having to use things like uni bits, okay? These are, okay, like a step bit or a uni bit. People all call them different names. Lots of different companies make them, Milwaukee, Greenlee, but you're gonna be having to drill through metal and stuff like that. And if your drill is not the nice, you know, Milwaukee drill or whatever brand you're looking at, they always have like, you know, the higher end drill with a metal, they have a metal chuck, 5-year warranty. Sometimes things have gone wrong. The warranty is always really solid. So that's one thing I can suggest to you, but you can also buy these in like a bundle deal. You can get both like your impact and your drill. Okay. So this is, I think this is called like your drill driver. This is your impact. The reason I like this is it's nice and light. You know, you put a battery on here, this thing will last you like a week if you're just like putting in screws for like boxes as an electrician. Nice and light. I also like the clip. I was also able to get a clip on this one too. So they both have clips, useful, you know, that can go on like the ladder, right? Same here on the ladder. Because a lot of times people would put the bit in, but the bit can start bending, especially if you're using something like this. So I always like the clips too. Okay, so I want to talk about the hand tools in this video. So again, you can look into a starter bundle to save you some money in terms of all your different hand tools. I personally really like this hand tool bag. The reason I do is because it also has this little compartment down here. Sometimes these bags have the compartment on the side. I personally think that would break. This thing is plastic, okay? It also helps with the structure of the bag. So again, you can take it out, but after I'm done using it, I usually like to put it right back in because it adds support to the bag. What makes it so valuable, especially as an apprentice electrician, is many times, you know, your journeyman, it could be a really high tense moment, you know, high pressure, the job's got to get done, whatever. And you might have a certain screw, a certain moret, whatever in here, even connectors, right? If you're working with like BX or like, you know, armored cable, you might have the connector in there, you might have anti-shorts, right? So you could be really helpful as an apprentice electrician. You've got all your stuff in there, okay? So again, hand tool bundle and a power tool bundle you can look into. Make sure that your drill is the high quality, and I promise you, you will be very happy and your tools will last you a long time. Now, if you're brand new to electrical, there's pretty much 3 main companies. There is Klein Tools, Greenlee, and Milwaukee Tool, okay? Klein Tool definitely is the leader. I also really do like Greenlee tools. I will talk a little bit about that in this video. And Milwaukee Tool is quite good. I usually like them more for like the power tools. I'm not biased towards any company. Again, I have the Greenlee tools, and a lot of times guys would make fun of me for using Greenlee, but I like them. I didn't find anything wrong with them. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is your multi-tool. Okay, so I have 2 of these. Klein makes 2 of them. Now, in my opinion, I like the 11-in-1. The multi I found over the years, the insulation is just a little bit bigger, okay? It's thicker. It was just a bit more annoying to put in my pocket. There's also one or two less bits than the 11-in-1. Now, what makes these so powerful is you can pull these things out. Inside is a nut driver. Inside here are nut drivers, okay? Flathead, so your standard bit. You also have your Phillips, okay? So this thing is so handy. Now, I wouldn't recommend using something like this in a panel. I would usually like your basic screwdrivers, okay? These things are just nicer. They're way nicer to work with in like a real setting. Like for example, if you're always using this style of bit at that time, then these are always nicer in something that you're using all the time. All right, so again, if you are a commercial electrician, I highly recommend a reamer. I promise you this thing is going to be game changing to your pipe bending. You can easily just cut your pipe, you ream it. So how this thing works is depending if it's 1/2 inch, 3/4, or 1 inch, this little thing right here, these little teeth are what ream the pipe for you. And there are attachments onto drills and stuff like that too, but I just found this thing has just been super versatile, super powerful, and you can also replace this. There is a little Allen key, and you can change out the teeth. Okay, so again, this one is by Klein, but again, Greenlee makes some, but it's expensive, but I promise you, I really, really recommend it if you are bending a lot of pipe. I need to talk to you about the Stanley Fat Max tape measure. This is by far my favorite tape measure. Now, me personally, I do like the 16-foot tape measure. I have a 30-inch here. I actually suggest having 2 tape measures. You want to have one long tape measure in case you need to do, long layout. But typically I've always found that a 16-foot is awesome as an electrician, especially if you're doing lights. It's nice and easy when you're on the ladder. You can easily just extend it. Now, the reason why the Fat Max is so good is because of how thick this the actual tape measure is. It allows you to bend out so far. These are expensive. They're like 30, 40 bucks for a tape measure, right? But one thing I suggest is never, ever bring these nice tape measures out in the sand. Always keep a cheap tape measure in this bag, right? That's why I like this bag, because it's pretty much you just throw all your stuff in there. Again, all like your power tools, but also I have things like, drill bits are in here, even, bits for the hacksaw, right? Metal and wood blades. So this thing's always just to kind of throw things in, but not too much. You also have to think about weight, but always keep a cheap tape measure in here so that if the boss says, hey, we need you out there, you're gonna be digging, because when it comes to digging pipes, depth and all that stuff matters a lot. Use this for your good stuff, okay? And if it does get wet, make sure that you're cleaning off your tape measure. Sometimes your company requires you to have the bigger tape measure, but the thing is they're heavy. I don't like how heavy these tape measures are, especially if you are putting it on like on your pocket, because it has the clip, right? 16-foot, I've been so happy with. All right, so the next one I want to talk to you about is your Lineman Pliers, okay? Lineman's. These are by Klein, these ones. These ones are by Greenlee. So these are the first ones I got. They were in my starter kit, and I've really, really liked them. But over time, I did, upgrade to the Klein. Now, Klein also makes the nice insulation grips as well. Okay, so you can see these ones are nice cushioned grips, which I did like. Klein, again, also makes that. It's called their Journeyman series. I think the Journeyman series 2000. I'd always joke around with people on the job site, like, oh man, you got the Journeyman series 2000. These were actually like my favorite linesman, pretty much. Like, I really did like these two. They were nice and comfy. I really enjoyed using them, but these are super nimble, okay? They have a nice narrow head. They're strong, okay? They're able to cut screws. You want to make sure that your pliers are able to cut screws. Otherwise, your teeth right here, you're going to get a little divot in them. And if you get a divot, it is the absolute worst, okay? Because you're not able to cut twine. And essentially, like whenever you cut, you always have to be watching where you're cutting rather than just putting the wires in there and just squeezing. As you can see, my side cutters have a hole in them. And if you can guess what that's from, it's from cutting a live wire, And again, never trust anybody. This was even from one of my trusted journeymen, that I would work with a lot. He said, hey, well, it's dead. You can cut the wire and boom, right? Same with these ones right here. You can see that this was a really nasty one. And I was really, really careful out there. You know, I'd always have my volt tick. I'd always use my meter. But what happened in these situations where they were trusted people, they said, hey, yeah, I turned off the circuit. You can go ahead and cut the wires. And you know, you cut and you're like, man. And so all I'm saying is something like this, like, yeah, it's good for stripping, but now it's useless for cutting, right? So as soon as that happened, I got a hole in them, then, you know, I upgraded. You know, I went to a new set of side cutters. And again, these ones are the nice Journeyman Series 2000 grips. I really, really like them on the side cutters. You can see my insulation grip started to slide on these as well, okay? So in addition to, you know, this one, you can see that, you know, these insulation grips are, you know, they'd come off. This one too, it did start to come down. You can cut off the insulation, you can get them dipped. If you want to fix them yourself. For myself, I ended up just taping the bottoms because they started getting wrecked, especially when you're working on what's called slab. If you're pulling core line, a lot of times you have to knock out the box and you just kind of hit it, right? A lot of these pliers, you know, they have all these special features such as like, sometimes they have crimpers on, but honestly, if you have a crimper in here, it is so annoying because you have to put the pliers over it and then crimp it down, really annoying. My recommendation to you is just buy a pair of crimpers, the ones that actually have the crimping on the front. I promise you it's way easier, you're gonna be faster, and you know, so use the tool for the tool. And then again, sometimes these have a fish tape puller. A lot of people think this is the fish tape puller. This is not the fish tape puller, okay? This is just a part of the tool for it to open and close. A fish tape puller, it looks like this, but it's a flat piece. And in my experience, even that flat piece on the fish tape puller, it still kinks the fish tape. So it's kind of a gimmick in my opinion. I recommend just a solid pair of Lineman Pliers. These ones right here are my favorite by Klein. Again, you can get the one with the nice Journeyman Series grips. They are comfortable. I do like them a lot. The grips are a little bulky, so I like it for the side cutters, but for the pliers, I did like the normal insulation. They're just more nimble, it felt like. Okay, so I just want to quickly talk to you about these side cutters. As you can see, these ones are the Journeyman Series 2000. Again, I'd always joke around with people on the job site. I think that's so, like, you know, such a funny thing to say. The biggest thing with side cutters is having this angled head. Okay, so sometimes you can get the straight. I'm telling you, the straight is so annoying because if you ever have to go to a residential setting where you have to hit staples in, okay, there's times where you have to undo staples. Having this angled head allows you to get under there and just pry super easy. Okay, so I want to talk to you about strippers, okay? So there's two different sizes you can buy. So this one here with the white tips right here, this one has yellow. I like the yellow ones, okay? The white ones go up to number 8. And in my opinion, it's very rare that you're working with number 8. And see, the difference between them is, again, just the sizes. But what happens is that the sizes change, okay? So like the numbers kind of change. So as you can see, like instead of maybe like 14 being up here, 14 was like down here on these ones, if that makes sense. So it just kind of changed where the numbers were. Now again, these ones I cut through live wire. So I have my old Greenlee pair, which is again the yellow tips. And again, that's really awesome that the companies do have that standard. These are my favorite styles. There's different styles of strippers. A lot of people sometimes even use like their Kleins to strip. But for me, I've always liked strippers, especially if you're in a box with like 40, 50 wires, just strippers, like, you know, nice and easy, just like boom, 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 nice and quick. Make sure that when you are stripping the wire that you're not like really, really cranking it and being hard on it, because if you are, you're going to score the copper and it makes it become brittle. So as you can see, when you're looking on a pair of strippers, it has a solid and stranded, right? So this is how I've always liked the numbers. This is how I've always known them. You can just pause the video and you can compare the numbers. But again, so what happened was just the numbers get changed a little bit on the white tips. I could never get used to the white tips, okay? Not that they're bad strippers, I just got so used to the yellow ones over my years. Now, the final thing I'll say about these strippers is you can see that on the front here, you have your 632 and you also have your 832. So when you're in the finishing stages, these strippers allow you to cut your finishing screws, and you want to make sure that you are threading them in from the way you're looking out, okay? If you ever thread them in through this way and cut them, you're going to be left with a little piece of the screw stuck in here, and it's so annoying, okay? All right, for knives, so I actually can't find my favorite Milwaukee, it's a little knife, it's the 16 millimeter Exacto knife by Milwaukee. People would always make fun of me for it, but I'm telling you, it was so, like, it was really versatile. It was still strong, but it was small. It was able to fit in my pocket, super nice. Now, as an electrician, everyone's got their own opinion when it comes to knives. Some people like hook knives, some people like some people even use like hunting knives, whatever. I've always liked an Exacto knife. It allows me to be really versatile when I am stripping wire. Now, when this is a brand new blade, you have to be very careful when you're stripping, you know, residential and NMD wire, all right? Romex or Lumex, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you can dull it by just kind of dragging it on like the cement a little bit. You kind of dull the blade a little bit. It's awesome for stripping wire. It's also like, you know, if you get a delivery, you can open up boxes really easily. You can cut things. So this has been such a versatile knife, and I really, really like an Exacto knife. I like the 16 millimeter. There is the bigger ones. So this is by Olfa. And then what's really powerful with it is once it gets really, really dull, you can bring it down to here. You tighten it, you take your pliers, snaps off. Make sure if you snap this off, throw it properly in the garbage. You know what I mean? Like, it is sharp, but don't leave it on the ground for someone to hurt themselves. All right, the next one I want to talk about is your Voltic. No matter what journeyman I have worked with as I was an apprentice, they always told me never trust your Voltic for real power. Generally, you will want to be using your real meter. You know, you just turn it on. This allows you to detect if line voltage is there. I like this one too because it also has a different mode for extra low voltage. Okay. What was really useful with this one too is if you held down the button to turn it on, it's quiet. Check this out. You can see it's going red, but there's no noise. So sometimes if you were in someone's home or if you were working somewhere where people were talking below, so sometimes, you know, you'd be working and like the boss and like the project manager and like you know, all like the real big wigs would come on the job site. And if you had to do some testing or whatever, look, so it turns off when you turn it off, but you hold down the button, you hold it down, turns on. If power's there, it's red, you can remain quiet. Now again, this is another thing people would always make fun of me because I got it as a super, super cheap meter. This thing cost me $10. But fun story about this, one time we were doing fire alarm, and even the super, you know, nice fluke meters and other people's meters, they weren't able to detect what was required for fire alarm. And it was just funny because this cheap meter came in very valuable for the job site. People were using my, like, you know, they're like, Riley, give me your meter. So I was like, whatever, it's only 10 bucks. This thing's been super, super useful. So this is called a Multimeter. Tons of different companies make them. Greenlee makes them, Klein makes them, Fluke makes them. One thing I will say about these meters is you do not need a super expensive meter. A lot of people on a job site that are not electricians know the brand Fluke for being expensive. So they're very hot items to be stolen on a job site. So if you do have it, make sure that when you are done using your multimeter that you are putting it away. You can see all these multimeters essentially work the same. It allows you to test for AC voltage, right? So in this case, 250 up to 750. I don't know if I trust this meter for that. A fun fact, here in Canada, anything over 750 is considered high voltage. When you go below 750, now it's actually low voltage, so 120, 240, all that is actually considered low voltage. And then once you go down to, like, you know, Ethernet, coax, like that's extra low voltage. You can test for ohms, you test resistance, for example, if you want to test resistance in like a baseboard heater. And then it also has for continuity. You know, you put your leads together and it'll let you know if the circuit is connected or just to identify wires. So in my opinion, if I were to go back, I would recommend getting a clamp-on multimeter. Okay, a clamp-on multimeter allows you to clamp onto wires to see amperage, which is so valuable as an electrician. You're still able to do all the continuity and your voltage and resistance and all that stuff, but you get the clamp on, okay? The one I also listed there, it's a little bundle deal, so you also get a plug tester, and then it also comes with a little circuit tester, so you plug it in and you can use the clamp on over that. It doesn't matter what plug tester you use, but you want to make sure that you have the yellow button, or like a button that allows you to test for GFI, but essentially it just allows you to see if you are right polarity. Okay, no wires are backwards or anything like that. The other thing I left you as well, I left you the option to buy like a bundle of screwdrivers. I'm just going to kind of quickly talk about these and why you need them as an electrician. But again, so you want a Phillips, you want a number 6 or a number 1 or a number 2 or a number 8, and a number 10 is also valuable sometimes to have around as well. I guess a number 3. Okay, for me personally, I just call it a number 6. A number 8, and number 10. Flatheads are very, very useful to have as an electrician, okay? This one is your finishing screwdriver. You never use this one for beating or for any aggressive work. If you ever see someone take your finishing screwdriver, like, you can get mad at them. Like, that's fair, okay? Now there's 2 other flatheads I recommend. This red one is a beating one, okay? You can use this to tighten with your lock rings, right? You hit it with a hammer to tighten your lock rings. I also like to have a nice heavy duty flathead, but again, you're not being aggressive on it. You are treating it as if it's like a finishing screwdriver, but this is more for panel work. If you're dealing with big heavy things, it also has the nice nut driver up here as well. Okay, so these are the 3 flatheads I suggest electricians to have: a finishing screwdriver, a beating screwdriver, and then this is essentially like a finishing screwdriver, but more for heavy duty panel work and stuff, okay? All right guys, so the last tool I want to talk about is the channel locks. These are very, very important to have as an electrician. I'll talk some tips about them in a second. These ones are the channel lock 430s, okay? They're really awesome because they allow you to get up to 2 inches, grab onto 2-inch EMT if you ever need to twist it in, or a coupling if you need to twist the coupling around. So these have been amazing. Now, one thing I learned over my years, someone told me this, is as an electrician, you always want to have 2 channel locks on you. And I have 2 styles, you know, really even just getting 2 of these ones is great. But over the years, I just picked up, these ones are by DeWalt, but they're just a different style. So this is actually like the brand channel lock. So I guess these are called plumber's pliers or pump pliers. But you want to have 2 sets, okay? The reason is because it allows you can hook on and you can kind of tighten them opposite directions. And so that's why having 2 is so important to have. Also, having needle nose pliers is so important to have. All right, sometimes you need to kind of get in there, grab a wire, or if you are using a fish tape and it's kind of stuck in the pipe, you can just kind of grab it and just pull it out. Now again, these Greenlee handles, they did, you know, the insulation grips do come off. So, you know, I could have re-glued them, but it's actually been so powerful to hit with sometimes. So personally, I just kind of left them as is because I can still use them like normal. So either Greenlee or Klein when it comes to the nice insulation grips, and I think you guys will be happy. And I just want to quickly talk about some drill bits that you guys may use out there or see out there, okay? So this one here is called an auger bit. This is what you will be using when you're drilling out your holes in a residential setting. A spade bit, this is more for like woodworking, but I found them, they were so powerful as well for just popping 1 or 2 quick holes. So these auger bits, they're really, really heavy duty. They're able to even go through nails and stuff. Obviously you want to be careful because if it goes through nails, you are going to damage it, but you can sharpen them. Okay, make sure that you can watch a YouTube tutorial on how to sharpen them the right way. You can sharpen them the wrong way. These spade bits, make sure that you never hit nails with them. You know, make sure it's always clean wood you're drilling through. But a spade bit's actually been like my favorite to drill holes. Now this is again a step bit and a uni bit, or a uni bit, whatever you want to call it. They have different sizes of them. This is why I told you want to make sure you have a good heavy duty drill because you're drilling through metal. Okay, and again, those metal shavings get hot, so just be careful when you are. Wear your safety glasses and maybe protect like the way like your arms are because the shavings can go onto your skin and they are hot. These things are usually pretty hard to get your hands on a job site. So many times they're only given to like journeymen, or sometimes you got to share them on a job site. They're like 70 to 100 bucks, depending on the size you buy. And one thing I want to say is sometimes the little cheap ones are nice to have as well. And so in addition to this uni bit or step bit, having like your index or just a normal drill bit is very, very handy. You know, getting a kit like this, It's nice solid plastic. I left you that if you want to check it out on this page. But I also put a bunch of like different stuff in here, like my nut drivers and stuff like that too. All right, so one final tool if you are bending pipe and having to build racks with uni strut and ready rod and 9/16 nuts. So this is called a hollow shank, and this one's funny. It's called the Big Willie Tools hollow shank. I left you one there. Lots of different companies make them, but so this is all hollow in here. Okay, if you look inside, and so it allows you to drill the nut, and the ready rod can go all the way up here. They make different sizes of them. I got like the small. This is like maybe 10 inches or something like that. Nice and small, really versatile. You also attach it onto the end of your drill, and it's just nice and light. Another really useful thing I didn't show, but a set of Allen keys. Now, the metal ones are really hard to find sometimes. So again, this one is by Klein, okay? So again, Allen keys are very, very important, and having a nice set of them like this one, just really, really versatile. You just pull out the one you want. Also for a file, I've always liked the one that's rounded. Really, really useful for an electrician because all of our pipes are round. And then also drywall saw, okay? Something like this. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video about different tools you need as an apprentice electrician. There's more tools, but I just kind of broke it down to a lot of common tools and things I wanted to talk about. I know when you're starting up, it's kind of hard and no one shares this stuff with you. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys ever have questions, you guys can send me an email. Visit the website, becominganelectrician.com. And again, it has dashes. My name is Riley. I am the operator here of becominganelectrician.com. Come visit the website. There's tons of articles about tons of different various things I've learned about being an electrician over the years. There's even like funny electrical jokes and stuff like that. And you guys can also visit my About page if you would like to learn more about me. So hope this helps, and feel free to reach out.